10 years old when I found out I was ugly. I decided to look into the mirror and tell myself what other people have told me before. As I looked into my own reflection, I said to myself, Raquel, you're ugly, and Raquel, you're not good enough. I am sad to say that this didn't end at the age of 10. In fact, it kind of became worse and worse over time. I remember being in the 5th grade, feeling so insecure about who I was, that I literally changed the way I sneeze. I made it so I could hold my sneeze, and I made it completely quiet. I was starting to become invisible, because I felt, at least if I'm invisible, people can't see how ugly I feel. And I know that this is kind of a universal experience. We have all felt like we aren't maybe good enough, or maybe pretty enough. And from what I have seen, it happens a lot with people my age. And I think it all comes from social media. I don't know about you, but when I open Instagram, the first thing I see is Kylie Jenner. Which somehow she has like a big butt, but like she's skinny, and she has those big lips, and she has like the audacity to put in her pictures #NoFilter, #No makeup, #natural. Or those models, like Bella Hadid, we have seen them, which have the perfect body. They're skinny, they're tall, they have the perfect skin, the perfect hair, the perfect eyes, the perfect everything. And all I seem to see every day on a daily basis is that is what beauty looks like. Unfortunately, the bad news is you don't look like that. And I want you to know that I am very self-aware. I know that social media is fake. Because you can say whatever you want about social media. Yes, it has broken boundaries, limits, it keeps us with knowledge. But at the end of the day, it's fake. It's a fantasy. I'm sorry to break it to you, but Kylie Jenner doesn't look like that. I know that people get plastic surgery. I know people edit and Photoshop their pictures. I know people have in their fingertips millions of Instagram filters saved up. I know people have like a certain way of posting kind of like this, so they look skinnier and maybe they look taller or whatever it is. I know that it's fake, but knowledge has its limits. You can know that you're blind just because you know, does that mean you can see? Not really, does it? Because all I seem to see on a daily basis at this point is people having this amazing life, the perfect body, the perfect everything. And I kind of came to this conclusion that if I don't look like that, if I don't live like that, well, it means that I'm ugly. It means that I'm not good enough. And the thing about this way of thinking is it starts so slowly. You don't even notice it at first. Like, you know when you go to the bathroom and you go to wash your hands, hopefully, and you leave the sink just a little bit open, the tiniest bit, but water is still gonna come out of that sink. That's how it starts. You don't think about the consequences of telling yourself that you're ugly or that you don't look good today. Or maybe you don't think of the consequences of comparing yourself to Kylie Jenner. But the water keeps dropping. Boom, boom, boom. And now you've kind of convinced yourself that you're not beautiful anymore. Now every time that you look in the mirror, you don't like the person you see. And the water will keep on dropping. Boom, boom, boom. And you look around and you realize you're in a tsunami of new insecurities you didn't even know existed. How was I supposed to know that my shoulders were wrong, that my belly button isn't supposed to look like that, or that I'm not tall enough? And all you can think about, all I could think about in those moments were, if I was pretty, if I was skinnier, if my waist was smaller and my hips were bigger, if I looked like Kylie Jenner. And that's the thing. It's not about being or not being pretty. It's about how spending and engaging all this time with social media, with these unreal, because that's what they are, they're not real human beings, makes you feel. For me, for the longest time, it made me feel insecure. It made me feel like trash. So much that I had to change the way I sneezed again. And I felt that I didn't want anybody to see me. I felt like I needed to overcompensate. You know, I didn't choose this face, I didn't choose this life. I won't be the pretty girl, but maybe I'll be something else. And did that make me feel any better? Of course not, because I was still having these voices in the back of my head telling myself, I don't look like that. I don't act like that. I'm not good enough. And it sucks, because you know you're not supposed to feel that way, because you know it's fake, but you still do. I was so sick, obsessed, because it is an illness. Sick of this idea of what beauty should look like. obsessed with this idea that all I could think about all day was if I was pretty, oh, if I had those legs, if I had that face, if I had those eyes, if I had that hair. And it wasn't until last year that I was tired, sick of feeling the way I was feeling. Because at the end of the day, putting yourself down constantly, it is exhausting. Having to constantly remind yourself that you're not good enough or whatever it is, you get tired of it. And I was like, okay, something needs to change here. I'm not feeling good about myself. I can't keep doing this anymore. I was fed up. So I started to realize that I need to start loving myself. And I think that we as a society as a whole have a very thick and kind of twisted idea of what self-love is. Have you noticed that you have to think that something is beautiful to love it? If I were to say right now, I think I'm ugly, I bet that one person here, maybe, I don't know, would say, no, what are you talking about? Don't say that. Like, you have to think that you're beautiful to love yourself. I'll give you an example. I don't like my nose. I think it's a little bit too big for my face, and I know that by saying this, I am bringing all of your attention to my nose. That's okay. I'll get over it. The point being, I don't like my nose. But without it, I would literally be dead. I wouldn't be here on the floor, funeral. I would be dead. Or my legs. I've convinced myself somehow that they're too fat. People shouldn't see them. I don't like wearing skirts. I don't like wearing shorts because I don't like my legs. But without them, I wouldn't even be standing here in front of all of you. I wouldn't have made it up the stairs. My body and my face, all it has done has helped me. And how have I repaid it? Insulting it, poking it, telling myself that I'm not good enough. And I did this for what? Again, it didn't make me feel any better. I remember feeling so insecure that at the start of the pandemic, people were like upset about face masks. And I was like, why are you like upset about it? This is like free plastic surgery. Like, this is like a free nose job, free rhinoplasty. Like, this is great for me. Or I remember growing out my hair so long because I didn't want people to see my face. I looked emo, yes, but like, it was a pro at the end of the day. And again, I did this for what? It didn't make me feel any better. So, it took me an embarrassingly long amount of time to realize that at the end of the day, at the very end of the day, all you have is yourself. You know, when you're alone in your house, your parents are gone, the lights are out, and you're completely alone, it's completely silent. Even there, you're not alone. You're still with you. You can't get like rid of yourself. You can't walk away from yourself. I'm trying to do it right now. You just can't. So eventually, you're gonna have to forgive yourself and love yourself for who you really are, because you're gonna be there for your entire life. And I know it's so much harder said than done. I'm still on the journey trying to figure it out. But one of the things that has helped me a lot was a TikTok video. I know, TikTok. But it was about this woman saying, think about 3 people that you love. And I was like, okay, my mom, my dad, and my best friend. And she was like, okay, now think of 2 things you love about those 3 people. And I was like, well, they're funny and they're smart. And she said, now think about 5 things that you hate. And I was like, oh. Sometimes they chew too loud, sometimes they eat too loud, sometimes they are not funny, sometimes they're not smart, sometimes they keep talking. I thought of a bunch of things, a bunch of faults that those people have. And then she said, and do you still love them? And I was like, of course, I love my friends, of course I love my family. They're my family and they're my friends, I love them. Just because they have something wrong with them doesn't mean I'm not gonna love them anymore. And she said, then why don't you apply the same logic to yourself? And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Why did nobody tell me this? You could have saved me so many tears. But if you think about it, it sounds kind of crazy and like dumb to say it out loud because it makes so much sense. Of course, you love people that aren't perfect because nobody's perfect. Why can't you apply the same logic to yourself? Are you not human? Are you not part of like the group? We already have enough voices outside of our head telling us that we're not good enough, telling us that we're not pretty. Why do we have to join the crowd? Why do we have to be part of those negative voices? Another thing that helped me a lot during this process of trying to change my mentality was this quote by Confucius, and he said that everything in this world has beauty, but not everybody can see it. For me, it's always been easier to see the beauty that everybody else has. Giving compliments is an easy job for me to do. I can always tell when somebody's hardworking, they're smart, they're funny, whatever it is. But it's so much harder to see it inside of myself. So, I want to leave you with this. It doesn't matter how much you hate your nose because it's too big for your face. It's keeping you alive. or how much you hate your stomach because you look too fat or you look too skinny. It helps you digest and eat your favorite food. Or how much you hate your arms because they're too fat or they're too hairy or whatever it is. They pull the people and the things you love close to you. Imagine not being able to hug your best friend or your mom ever again, or your legs because they're too fat or whatever it is. They keep you standing, running, walking, reaching your dreams, reaching the mountains. Or how much you hate your voice. It allows you to scream and shout and tell other people that you love them. Don't ever try to lower it. Don't ever try to make your knees quiet. Don't ever try to cover your face with your hair. Because there is beauty inside of you. You deserve to be seen, you deserve to be loved and appreciated, not only by others, but especially by yourself. Don't make yourself invisible. You deserve to be seen. Thank you.